What kind of future do you hope the next generation of Mainers grow up in?
I want the next generation of Mainers to have the kind of future where they can afford to buy a home, that they can stay in the state of Maine, that there's employment that can meet their needs, that the cost of living meets that is of a standard that is affordable, that politics aren't driven so much by the divisive politics of today, but that truly seek to make sure that a family can survive. And that's part of the reason why I'm fighting so hard for DHHS oversight. I want people to be able to have families here in the state of Maine and not worry from day to day that they'll get a false report against them and actually have an opportunity to face an agency. Well, I shouldn't say have an opportunity, but to not have an opportunity to defend themselves. The agency sets the rules and then determines how everything goes from there. So I really want to have the type of Maine, a future for the people, the future generations of the state of Maine, where they can afford to live here, they can afford to buy a home, they can afford that the cost of living is affordable enough that they can actually, provide a savings for their future in retirement. I feel like a lot of people don't put enough into retirement today, and it's because they can't afford their daily living. So I really hope that we can set it up, cut the red tape, cut everything out so that people can actually live, help people so they can work, make sure that there's childcare, that it's affordable childcare, to make sure that some of the red tape in these childcare providers, some of the hoops they have to jump through needs to be cut out of the way, as well as, there should be safeguards, but as well as making sure that those that are working for the state of Maine in childcare are paid. And we know that a lot of times the foster care and other special needs that are out there, the child care providers are relying on DHHS to get paid. To the oversight bill is to make sure that the agency's held accountable for making sure they pay their bills, as well as making sure that they're not overstepping their boundaries, that due process is truly at the forefront of their mission. We want to make sure that due process is not only in criminal offenses, but in family court and family situations. I feel like that would be the greatest thing that we could leave behind, making sure that reach in family court from preponderance of the evidence, which is just 50% plus a feather, to clear and convincing evidence, which is more than likely, it's 75%. So it would require some evidence of something. I just want to provide, an administration that I want to be part of would be an administration that just focuses on making sure the individual gets to be the individual, that a person gets to live with liberty and freedom. And I really feel like the only way we can do that is by getting the government out of our lives as much as we can, allowing the government to be that security net that it was meant to be, and not to be our father, grandfather, or trying to be that person in our life that tells us exactly how to live. I do believe that the importance of a child agency, like, for child and family services, is important because we need to make sure that the people that don't treat their children right are being held accountable, and those children have a pathway where we can keep them safe. However, the agency's failing 94% of the time, and that's not fair to Maine families. So we need to work towards making sure that families actually have everything they need: a home, a job, and the safety that they deserve here in the state.